It's time again for Legal Talk with Hahn and Hahn attorneys right here on eRadio. And today's topic, I can't afford an attorney, but I need legal assistance. So what do you do? Let's look at some of your options. We ask Jaco Hamman from Hahn and Hahn attorneys. Jaco, welcome back to Legal Talk.
Thank you, Ian. Much appreciated. Nice being back.
Nice to have you back. Jaco, what can I do if I cannot afford an attorney?
Yeah, thanks, Ian. So the first thing that one needs to consider is who's the person or company that you have a complaint against, or want to institute an action against. Now, in South Africa, over the last, say, 10 years or so, there's been a massive increase in various ombuds or regulatory bodies that assist the man on the street with complaints. Now, these ombuds or regulatory authorities, in the majority of cases, they are for free. I mean, there's rarely one or two that might charge a fee at a certain stage, but that is also of such a nature that your man on the street can actually afford it. Now, I'm going to give you a list of some of these ombudsmen, and your listeners can maybe make a note or just in general listen so that they understand where it is that they want to go to or can go to. Now, one of these will be the Consumer Goods and Services Ombud. Now, it is what it says. It says, so if you're a consumer and you've purchased goods or services and you're not happy with what you received, then you go to them. Another one is a Credit Ombud. Then you've got certain ombudsmen for municipalities, like your City of Johannesburg Ombudsman. Then you've got your Community Schemes Ombud Service. Then you've got the Office of the Ombud for Financial Services. Your broker didn't give you proper advice, you feel. Then you go to them. Your Motor Industry Ombudsman of South Africa, MIOSA is their acronym. If you've got a problem in there buying in the car, then you approach them. Office of the Long-Term Insurance Ombud for short-term insurance. Now, you'll see that some of these short-term insurance companies over the radio, in the advertisement, they said that they've got the fewest complaints as an ombud. Now, if you've instituted a claim at your short-term insurance and they refuse to pay out, then instead of paying an attorney to handle your complaint, you go to the ombud. Tax ombud, which is quite a recent ombud as well. If you've got a problem with SARS, you can go to them. Ombud for banking services. Got a problem with your bank. Your legal service ombuds. You've got a problem with your attorney, which is also something that's quite new. In the past, you had the Law Society, and if you had a complaint against an attorney, you would go to the Law Society. Now, the Law Society has now been replaced with the Legal Practice Council, but there's an ombudsman as well, the Legal Services Ombud. And then, of course, what we've spoken about in the past is your CCMA or bargaining councils. Then you've got regulatory bodies where you can file a complaint. One of the most known ones is the National Credit Regulator, the NCR. Now, let's say you've received a loan somewhere, but the interests are too high, or you feel that there was reckless credit, then you lay a complaint with the National Credit Regulator, and they will assist you free of charge. South African Reserve Bank is one as well. Then we've got NERSA, the National Energy Regulator of South Africa. Now, NERSA, whenever we deal with complaints pertaining to overcharge of electricity, NERSA is the body that we personally go to. But the man on the street is more than welcome to go to them directly. Then you've got ICASA, which is the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa. Then you've got SAPA, the South African Health Products Regulator. You've got the NHBRC. You've got the Health Professions Council, to name a few. Now, we can sit here all day, but the principle behind this is that gone is the day that if you've got let's just call it plainly, if you've got a problem with someone, that you have to go and pay an attorney. We've got Google, like they say, Google is your friend. Google it, see who's the ombudsman that you can take your complaint with. And they are very customer friendly. You put down on paper to say, this is what has happened. If you've got evidence, hopefully you've got evidence. Now, evidence is merely saying that here's an email that this person said this to me. You attach that, you send it to them, and they assist you. So you don't have to go through the attorney. You've got all these ombudsman and regulatory bodies that is free, and they're well within their means to assist the customers or the clients, the man on the street.
Jaco, so surprisingly, quite a few options available. But let's say now, what do you do if your complaint or your case is against a person or a company that does not fall under the above-mentioned options?
So what we've got in those instances is there's other institutions that you can approach. So the universities in South Africa have law clinics. Now, what is very nice about this law clinics is on various ways. On the one hand, it teaches law students not just to have the degree, but practical how to assist clients. So you've got normally your final year law students, you've got candidate attorneys that work there, you've got junior attorneys, and then you've got senior attorneys. And each university has these law clinics. So in the area that you stay, you can go and have a look and just Google Law Clinic, University of Pretoria for argument's sake, or University of Cape Town or Stellenbosch, if you're down in the Cape, or wherever the case may be, and they'll be able to assist you. Then you've got a company called Pro Bono Org, similar. Then, of course, you've got your legal aid clinics, which is the Legal Aid of South Africa, where you've heard over the TV probably said if you can't have a lawyer or afford a lawyer, and a lawyer will be given to you. Now, that's where that legal aid normally comes in. But legal aid does not only do criminal work, it does civil work as well. Now, let me just give a brief explanation. So criminal work is there where you've, argument's sake, the state has now accused you of theft. That's criminal. Civil is where two people fight one another. That's a simple explanation. So legal aid, pro bono, and university law clinics isn't only for criminal work, it is for civil work as well. However, what is important is to remember or to know is that these law clinics, as well as the legal aid clinics and pro bono, they first have what they call a means test. So, and the reason for that is they don't offer free legal services to all within South Africa. The purpose of these clinics and pro bono and legal aid is for people that can't afford it. Now, for argument's sake, the pro bono or means test says that you must have an income not exceeding 7,500 Rand per month. And then an asset value that isn't more than 350,000 Rand. Now, those things you can find on probono.org.za's website, where it tells you where Johannesburg, KwaZulu-Natal or Cape Town and what the different tests are to determine. And then you've got the financial aspect on pro bono on the one hand. Then on the other hand, you've got the merits of the case. Is it in public interest or is it vulnerability? But go and have a look on the internet, look at these and find out who can assist you and what.
Okay, Jaco, and what do you do if you don't qualify for the clinics, but you still can't afford an attorney that will probably cost you in excess of about 30,000 Rand? What can you do?
So in that instance, you can actually go to the small claims court. Now, look, the reality is that legal advice is very expensive. And I get a lot of time, I'll get a client that is existing client in another matter, and he comes to me and he says, Jaco, but this guy did some work at my house, he now owes me 50,000 Rand. And so, well, look, the reality is you can't go to court for 50,000 because it's going to cost you more than that 50,000. And he says, so what do? I can't just let it go. I said, well, go to the small claims court. So the upside of the small claims court is that no attorneys are allowed. So you don't have a need for an attorney, and further to that, it's not just that you don't have need for an attorney isn't allowed. The downside is that you can only claim a maximum of 20,000. So if somebody owes you 50,000 Rand, you can't go to the small claims court and ask for 50,000. You can only ask for 20,000 Rand. Even if you think about it, getting that 20,000 Rand is better than getting nothing. Now, if you go to the small claim, again, Google small claims court. Then you'll see on their website, they've put out for you specifically how it works, what happens, how you can approach it. Just short. So what you'll do is, first of all, let's say for argument's sake, it's now the contractor that did some work at your home, and you now want at least the 20,000 rand back from him. Then you'll phone him and say he has to pay. The contractor will come with all sorts of stories. The next what you'll do is you write them a letter. You write them a letter and you say, this is the money that you owe me, and I want you to repay it back. Then you go to the clerk of the court at your nearest magistrate's court. They will assist you for the small claims court. And then in there, if the person hasn't paid you your money within 15 days, then you take that letter of demand. Look, you can even go before then. I've seen here, and the website doesn't specifically say that, but I've, on personal experience from advising clients, is they go to the small claim courts and they help them to write a sort of letter of demand. And then you either self-deliver it or you take it to the sheriff's office and you pay the sheriff a small fee to go and deliver it to the person. If the person then doesn't pay you the money within those 14 days, then you will take them physically. They will have to go to court. Now, this Judge Judy, Ian, I don't know if most of us know Judge Judy.
I love her.
Now, small claims court is Judge Judy. That is what small claims court is in a nutshell. You go and stand there in front, you play lawyer. So I'm saying this with respect, but it is fun to play lawyer, hence I am a lawyer. So the rest of us that doesn't want to do it on a full-time basis can go and do it there. You've got your documents with you. You say that you have to pay me back my money, and this is the reason for it, ABC. And then the presiding officer there makes a decision and says, okay, Mr. Builder, you have to repay now this 20,000. And the nice thing about this is if he doesn't pay it back, that can then be transferred to the magistrate's court, and you can actually have the sheriff go out to the person's house to sell his furniture in order for you to recoup the money. And again, without having to go to an attorney. So for me, look, every time they increase the amount, because initially, I think when I started way back as a candidate attorney, it was either 2,000 or 5,000 rand, and every now and then they increase the limit, which is to me very, very nice, because it's always sad for somebody to come to me and say, Jaco, please help me. And I said, look, I'd love to help you, but it financially doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Jaco, I wouldn't want to mess with Judge Judy. Eh? She's very intimidating. Oh my gosh, I would just go to pieces if I had to stand in front of her. I'm telling you now, she's very intimidating.
No, but the others are much friendlier than Judge Judy. Eh?
Oh
South
my goodness,
African guys, they're not as strict.
Okay, well, thank goodness. Okay. Jaco, if I go to an attorney, will the attorney not claim all my legal costs back from the other person or company?
Yeah, you see, this is something that I get quite a lot, that somebody comes and sees me and says, but I've done nothing wrong, so I want to get all my legal fees back. Now, unfortunately, it's very rare that you will be able to claim all your legal costs from the other side, even if you win your case. So when a court awards legal costs, there are three types of court cost orders that are made. The first one is your normal cost order. So the order will just say, order costs awarded. Now, that cost we call party and party costs. Now, that is the one that would, if I had to put a percentage to it, it's probably 70 to 80%, if not even more instances. The only time that it normally differs is if there's a specific contact, but we'll get to that. Now, the effect of a cost order like this is that you'll probably recoup about, I normally have a sort of an average to say to the client, 70% of your actual costs. Now, let's say for argument's sake, the cost is 100,000 rand. And remember, most attorneys want this money up front. So let's say now you've got a problem, Ian, and you pay me 100,000 rand, and we go to court and we win, and you recover 70,000 rand back. then you've lost 30,000 Rand in any of it. And hence why I'm saying it's not always worth your while to do it. And further to that, one other thing that is very important is now you've got a judgment that says this guy must pay you, let's say, 30,000 Rand. And you've got a cost order that says he has to pay you 70,000 Rand. But he doesn't have the money. What have you done? You've just paid the attorney for nothing. Of course, I did my work, so I need to get paid. But that's something that's very important. People need to realize and have a look and say, can the person repay you? Look, there's, of course, different reasons for suing somebody. Let's say you say, you know what, I know the guy doesn't have the money now, but I want judgment. Therefore, I'd rather take him to court, get judgment, and that judgment stands for the next 30 years. So, but that's a topic again for another day. So the second cost order is an attorney and client cost. Now, attorney and client cost means that even if, so party and party, let me just say this, if a court decides, look, it was reasonable for the client to see the attorney once, then he can only get the fees for that once, and not at the rate that the attorney charges, but at the rate that the court determines. Similar to, if you go and see a doctor or a specialist, and the medical aid said, well, I'm only paying 500 Rand an hour, but the specialist says, yes, but I charge 1,000 Rand an hour. Now, this is the same principle. There's certain fees that's set out there. So now you've got attorney and client costs. So attorney and client means that irrespective of whether you've seen the attorney 5 times, the other party has to pay for it. Now these things normally is only if it's in a contract. The parties has agreed beforehand that if we've entered into a fight, then the one party or both parties will pay each other's attorney and client costs. Now lastly, you've got attorney own client scale. This is where you'll be able to recover 99%, if not most of your money. Now, we've spoken about reading contracts in the past. If you've got a contract with your bank and you actually read it, it will say that if you don't adhere to the terms of this agreement, I am entitled to get attorney-owned client costs. That means that in that instance, you will have to pay for everything and the bank doesn't. So this is just some of the things pertaining to costs and that you need to consider and remember that the majority of times you won't be able to get all your costs back.
Okay, and then one final question, Jaco. Don't attorneys work on the basis that they will only receive money if they actually win?
So there are attorneys that work on this basis, but normally it's matters such as road accident fund claims or medical negligence claims. So most attorneys that I know, well, in fact, all of the attorneys that I know, except for the ones that does medical negligence claims or road accident fund claims, none of them work on what we call a contingency basis. All of them work on the basis, so well, look, you pay me up front. If we win, I'll see how much money I can recover from you. And now, like we said about the costing, that will depend. And the reality is that this is one of the things that makes people very cross for the simple reason that they say, but I've done nothing wrong. Now I need to pay for it. Yes, that is so, but unfortunately, that is the hard reality of it. The way that I sometimes explain it, and forgive me, this might be a bit harsh, is the same as when you're in a fight. So let's say a physical fight, somebody hits you, you're going to bleed. If you hit him back, yes, he's going to fall and you're going to win the fight, but you're still going to bleed. That's the art of fighting. And going to court is the same principle. You're never going to walk out of it scot-free, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But again, just a last thought. So realize that and think about that. If you want to go to attorney, is it really worth it? Think about how long things normally take in order to get to the end and what's it going to cost you. Does the person have money? Or should I rather go to the small claims court, see if I fall within the means test, go to the law clinics, or of course, first price, go and have a look at the various ombudsmen and the regulatory bodies.
Jaco, as always, a big thank you to you for sharing this with us today. It's been very, very helpful, and we appreciate your knowledge and time.
It's a pleasure, Ian. Always nice chatting to you.
And to you.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Are you or your business in trouble and struggling to find a solution? Call Hahn and Hahn Attorneys as we assist clients in finding solutions. We specialize in consumer and food law, commercial and construction law, forensic investigations, and administrative law. Visit hahnlaw.co.za. That's HAHN. We assist clients nationwide. Hahn and Hahn Attorneys, because we care. Don't miss Legal Talk with Hahn and Hahn Attorneys, Wednesday mornings at 10 on eRadio.